One of the things I was most excited about for the release is the return of community replays. That's right, the replays from you folks that you submitted to me on Discord. Today we've got one from Medley. She's going to be taking Grand Cathay into the new Warriors of Chaos. And I believe this is a replay actually from Turin's release day tournament. So let's take a look at what she's got in the starting army. We've got Xiaoming, the Iron Dragon, Jade Warriors up front, Sky Lanterns, second line of Iron Hail Gunners, and an Astromancer. Let's take a look at the spell loadouts here. Got Dragon's Breath, it looks like, and Plague of Rust, Final Transmutation. Yeah, all the fun goodies there. Nothing here, just purely brought for the Celestial Silk Robe, +5 melee defense, 8% spell resistance, and the Mastery of the Elemental Winds, of course, having multiple casters. Got the Lantern. Let's look at the Warriors build real quick. The opponent coming in with a Sorcerer Lord of Fire on foot with just Burning Head. Interesting choice. Sort of the response to the Min Pit of Shades caster, I suppose. Chaos Spawn, no surprises there. Some Marauders, Warriors with great weapons, more Marauders, and some regular Warriors as well. Let's take a look at the reserves quickly. For Cathay's reserves, we've got the Regiment of Renown Longma's Righteous Lances. Super righteous. Single rocket battery, 3 Jade Lancers, 1 Jade Halberd, 2 more Iron Hail Gunners, 4 Peasant Long Spears, 2 Peasant Horsemen. For the Warriors reserve, we've got 2 Corn Champs on Juggernauts, yes. Corn Spawn, 2 Feral Manticores, 2 Hellstriders, 2 Chariots, and 2 Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. And now we are back, so I'm interested to see how this goes. I mean, in most people's opinions, Grand Cathay has a pretty bad time against Warriors of Chaos, especially with all the new stuff, but we'll see. I mean, certainly in land battles, Cathay has a little bit better odds of doing some interesting stuff, but already got some reinforcements coming in, some Jade Halberds, Peasant Long Spears, additional anti-large to help deal with those Chaos spawns. Marauders also not being backed up so far. Chaos just kind of banking their resources. I believe they're under the Sigvald color scheme. It's maybe this is the Azazel color scheme. I actually don't remember, but definitely looks Slaanesh, even though they're not necessarily Slaanesh. Right? Anyway, looks like we've got a Manticore coming in from reserve there. Going to be a solid tool. Help maybe counter this Sky Lantern, drop some quick terror routes on some of these units. Celestial Dragon and Dune Guard here. And perhaps lock down that objective. Nope, they're going to switch directions. Just allow the Jade Warriors to get into position here. Definitely the Great Weapon Infantry for Chaos. Should trade reasonably decent here against the Jade Warriors. We've also got some Hellstriders coming in up on the high ground. So the Chaos Warriors taking a pretty decisive positional hill advantage here. I say advantage. Cathay has actually got 2 points more or less under control right now. Both players are just playing very patiently, so let's fast forward a little bit through this initial kind of phase. Players are both bringing in reinforcements. This I'm not sure about. This is a super wide flank with all these Chaos spawns and the Hellstriders, and they are at immediate risk of just getting crumped by something flying straight out of reserves, like these Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, but perhaps not. Burning Head comes through. I mean, the thing about Burning Head against Cathay is that they're armored, right? And Burning Head has very famously terrible AP values, so not really sure I agree with that necessarily. I think even, I get you don't want to take Pit of Shades, right? But, like, even Pendulum is still pretty decent. I might still take that, or, you know, take some other, like, Searing Doom is pretty efficient against armored stuff as well if you want something different, but anyway, Sky Lantern's going to get taken out pretty quickly there as the Righteous Lances swoop in. They're able to get there just in time. They now drop into a ground combat against some of these Chaos Warriors. The Chaos Warriors should outtrade the Jade Warriors, I would think. They just have straight up better stats, but it is going to take quite some time with that kind of wet noodle contest. This, much better use of Burning Head right here to go after, and oh man, it just straight one-shots the unit almost. Yeah, given how kind of thick of a block they were in, that just did a lot of HP damage. Wow, didn't kill a single model, but did almost all of their HP in damage. So that's pretty impressive. The Shooting Gun Lord there using her Or, sorry, that's the Astromancer, that's right, using his fancy melee animations to help break up those Chaos Warriors. Dune Dragons holding firm, of course, with that Harmony modifier not currently active on them, but still. Iron Hail Gunners hopefully able to survive here. We've got some Chariots coming in. Great choice from Chaos. May even bring the Mark of Slaanesh on them if he had the marks available, but of course he spent them on the Horn Champions, who we have not seen yet. Warriors continuing to grind it out with the Jade Warriors. And man, Warriors are huge compared to these Cathayan infantry, it must be said. Kind of makes sense. It's interesting to see as well, but Iron Hail's not really sure what they're doing. They're going to go pretty far forward here, but Zhao comes in. He's going to drop a nice breath attack there. That breath will be super efficient for dealing with Marauders. It's, I got to remember the AP values. It's, yeah, 0% AP. That's as I remember. So not going to be the best, but the Chariots coming in, getting a nice little rear charge there, trying to pull through, but the Spawn kind of blocked their own units in place, which is a little bit unfortunate. Spawn's also coming around for a full flank, so at this point, Medley's in a pretty decent amount of trouble. I mean, getting pressed on multiple fronts here. We've got the Spawns moving through to try and finish, but yeah, another Burning Head here, going to do relatively little against the armored infantry of Cathay. Ends up actually routing the Marauders there, so probably doing more harm than good at that point. Maybe you just save that Burning Head and wait for these Peasant Long Spears to get into a position where you can use it on them. Anyway, Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, Jade Lancers also coming in here. We've got the Hellstriders connected to them in combat, and the Chariots also not really want to be in this cavalry engagement. If they could break free and go after some infantry, that'd be great, but Righteous Lances there, doing a decent job. Jade Lancers unfortunately get taken out. We've also got some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, but the thing is, Cathay's infantry is able to just hold on the points because of their leadership, and they're not taking enough damage where Chaos can actually clear them out, so we may see a little bit of a push here. Peasant Long Spears, of course, going to trade just insanely cost-effective with those Chaos spawns, especially with Harmony active on the one. We look here, up to 36 melee defense, 28 melee attack. Definitely helps them trade that much more efficiently. From a points perspective, they've kind of been trading points back and forth, so Medley now with 2v1 cap and also pressing on that third position is in a very good place. Nice downhill charge. A lowly Peasant Horseman into the backs of these warriors with great weapons, sending a few of them tumbling to their ultimate doom. And given how tattered those Chaos Warriors are, they probably just lose that engagement and get routed off outright. But the Peasant Horsemen aren't going to stay to take any chances. They immediately charge over, clean up some of those Marauder Horsemen as well. Nice Burning Head here. Does get some damage on those Peasant Long Spears. But the mobility of Warriors of Chaos is having a hard time getting home. Eventually they do come over here, concentrate, terror route that Jade Warrior. Still not able to get the full command of this objective, and definitely would want to be kind of putting units in on that as much as possible. I don't know. I think all these units are probably contributing to the capture anyway. But great thing about Manticores is their cheap cost, but in general, flying units, they have to do a lot in Domination to actually make themselves not only worth it gold-wise, but also tactically worth it, because I think Arrow said it very well last night as I was chatting with him about this. Arrow Krastic, the legend from Warhammer 2, basically said the flying units need to more than pay for themselves. They need to pay for themselves and also pay for, you know, tactically pay for whatever units could have come in and contributed to capture weight. Like, they need to kill enough enemy units to even out that capture weight in your favor, because, I mean, just thinking about it, like, the two Manticores here could be just two more warriors, which isn't that much of a difference, but it is enough of a difference that perhaps they could have maybe, like, held this center objective, especially a couple more warriors with great weapons to trade into the halberds of Cathay. I would think you'd probably want to just max warriors with great weapons in this matchup, but got some Marauder Horsemen now charging in, trying to get a leadership break here. Zhao, of course, is not going anywhere, and now would be a hilarious time for a final transmutation if Medley has one available, but fortunately I can't see her Winds of Magic, which is another kind of dream of mine in replays, to be able to see both players' Winds of Magic, and kind of, I guess I can see their cooldowns to a degree if I'm paying attention, but also just to directly see their cooldowns of any given character. But anyway, moving that aside, some more Jade Lancers coming in here as the Manticores and the Horsemen try and come back and pressure these units coming in from reserves, but I think this is a mistake. Really, all of this mobility should all in on the center objective and just try and capture it, and then go back and maybe forward pressure Cathay. But like, these Horsemen they could be capturing this. If you were to just force path all the horsemen, all the Hellstriders, and the warriors in on this objective alongside the spawn, Cathay doesn't have enough forces here to actually hold back a capture. And the warriors are also doing something similar, bringing a lot of their very tattered units up to cap this high ground objective, but I just think this is a little bit of an over pursuit coming from the king of overextending, if I can just give myself that title outright, because maybe not the king, but certainly someone who's well known for overextending. I can tell you, I know an overextension when I see one, and this is definitely one, as the Peasant Long Spears come in easily from reserves and push them back. We've also got a rocket battery here, Fire Rain rocket battery, no Hellstorms here, more, yeah, less aggressive sounding name, I guess, would be a good way to put it. But Zhao here, staying in human form, gonna be doing some sweet karate kung fu moves, you know. Ooh, just like mega quad kick attack. I don't think I've even seen that before. That's hilarious. Gets hit by a throwing axe in the neck, but oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's now gonna do terrible things to this Chaos Warrior. Oh, boom. Dang. Man, the foot animations for certain characters are so cool. The one benefit of the dragon dudes, I mean, in the future, certainly, hopefully we'll have more, but the dude and dudette, I guess, the dragon siblings is, you do actually use them on foot consistently and get to see their cool animations. More so than, like, another lord who just gets a mount and then never goes on foot, like Malekith, for example, we looked at in the other video from today. But anyway, as I was not paying attention, Medley managed to get herself 3-capped here, as Warriors of Chaos were able to get the high ground objective with those sneaky little side units. This one was also capped by some kind of tattered Marauders and Warriors, so eventually Cathay just getting a little bit overworked on the ground, but we'll see if Zhao can come in and take out this Khorne champion off reserve. Didn't really get to highlight these guys too much in early access, so let's watch. Probably one of the coolest looking characters in the game, in my opinion, right now. Absolutely awesome. Try and fight it out with Zhao. But right now, Zhao really has no interest in fighting him directly. He's trying to terrify away these chariots, get some of these other units off the field so that he can try and get a capture. But yeah, Medley's in a little bit of trouble here as the Warriors are fairly sturdy on the capture points. I mean, things are looking a little bit rough in that way, but we'll see. My frame rates are also looking a little bit rough. I'll try and get that addressed. I know some of you guys have been commenting about the stuttering, which, to be honest, I haven't changed my settings at all pre-Immortal Empires to Immortal Empires, and the stuttering is something that cropped up kind of after Immortal Empires was released, but let's see. Medley's pushing. She's got the Peasant Horsemen here. The Dune Dragons should be able to come in here and cap this objective. This objective, I'm very surprised it's so decisively in the Warriors' favor. Look at all of this stuff. Maybe there's something weird with the Exalted Hero of Khorne's capture weight on his mount here. Technically, the chariot should still be contributing because its mount was, or its one of its models was still on there. But yeah, I guess it's because Zhao doesn't actually have capture weight. Maybe that's the difference. I'm not understanding. I do think that they could give. Unfortunately, Medley's gonna get a narrow defeat there, but still a great game and a very valiant attempt from Cathay. Certainly. You know, it's interesting. Well, let's look at the values here. I love Zhao as a like top 5 lords I would actually want to hang out with in Warhammer. Zhao's probably on that list. But that being said, flying expensive lords, like I said with the Manticores and with the Riders of Wei Jin, you have to do so much in order to be effective in domination. That's why you see the Shooting Gun Lords a lot for Cathay, because they could have done like 80% of what Zhao did here for like 60 to 80% of the cost, and that additional 2 or 3 units helping to maintain capture does make a significant difference in those very close games. And certainly this was a super tight game until the very end there. But yeah, from Cathay's side, you know, I like the mass Jade Warriors here, kind of backed up by the Crane Gunners. You don't have a lot of options for infantry anyway, so you might as well just take some decent defensive infantry, but they don't trade well against the Halberds, which is kind of to be, or the great weapons, rather, of the Warriors, which is to be expected, I suppose. The issue with Cathay is your anti-infantry AP is just not amazing right now. You don't have a lot of great sources of it, and obviously, Warriors of Chaos are going to come at you with quite a bit of mid-tier, very cost-effective armored infantry. So it's a little bit of a problem, but I don't know. Maybe it takes some other other stuff, so I wouldn't really know from a build perspective. I'd kind of have to sit and think about it a little bit, but maybe you don't bring the Riders of Wage in and just bring more like cheap light cavalry, and just spam some more halberd infantry. I mean, the one Jade Halberd that did get brought paid for itself pretty handily, so maybe you just take more Jade Halberds and just continue to spam mid-tier infantry onto the objective. While I do actually really like the Iron Hails as a Harmony battery and also great up-close armor-piercing kind of DPS, it can get a lot of work done, certainly, but it's an interesting one, definitely. And on the other side here, Warriors, the Sorcerer on foot is pretty cost-effective if you can use the spells effectively, which a little bit of a mixed bag here, but generally did okay. A lot of units, weirdly enough, in the initial army don't really pay for themselves, but Horn Champion's one I'll need to investigate a little bit more. He seems pretty decent in certain situations, kind of mowing through infantry. Hellstriders are also a unit that are due for a nerf. They got quite a bit of benefit from the Mark of Slaanesh getting reworked for the Champions DLC without getting any cost increase, which is one reason, I think, why Slaanesh is so strong right now. They were already a good unit at 600 or 700 points, respectively, for the two variants. Now they are just straight up OP at that cost, so I would expect them to get some nerfs in the next patch, but enjoy them while it lasts. Certainly, they are quite good right now. The Chariot's also efficient usage there, so like to see that. One of my favorite units from Warhammer 1 back in the day. Very nostalgic for me to see good use out of those, so great stuff in general. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.